Gina, just turn it down a little bit, please. Gino Bino. Right. Hi, guys. I keep putting off coming on to Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. So I keep putting it off. This interview. Hi, Lorna. How are you? So I'm a little bit rushed. I'm going to try and be a bit speedy with it. I want to play part 1 of the Joe Esposito interview. I did store it on my phone, so I'm hoping it's going to work. Let's have a look. I watched this the other day, and I thought, oh, this is really good. Let's see if it's going to work, guys. Okay, let's click on it. Let's go onto Facebook. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay, right, let's go onto the messenger. I'm trying to rush a bit, guys. I want to... So obviously I store everything on here on my Louis McCready's bit. I've got loads of good stuff on here. So let's click on number 1. Let's get going with it straight away. So let's read it. It says, interview with Joe Esposito in Montreal, Canada, July 2002. He came also to see his favorite Elvis Best tribute act, Martin Fontaine. Now, I don't know if I've watched this, guys. I may have watched it before.
Welcome to Montreal.
Well, thank you for having invited me here.
I'm telling you, it is a veritable pleasure to meet you, and you are a bank of information on a veritable legend, Elvis Presley.
Well, I think so.
I just want to know something. When you
So, have any of you seen this? I think we've watched this once before, but it's obviously quite retro. I've got a feeling we've watched this before, but I just found it fascinating.
Initially met Elvis, because we're going to talk about the relationship that you had with him over the years. When you initially met him in the Army, did you know that he was going to be what he became?
So, guys, Joe obviously met him in the Army. It's an interesting story. Let's see how it goes.
Well, he was a big star when he got drafted. Mm-hmm. He definitely did that. So I was very nervous when I first met him. I didn't know what he was going to be.
Yeah, so Vincenzo, this is so good. I think this is, Vincenzo, if you've not seen this before, I think this is a real treat.
I've never been around big stars. I'm from Chicago and never thought about meeting somebody like that in my life. And he was a very easy man to
So did you know that he was from Chicago?
To get to know. He was very warm. He made you feel comfortable around him. Mm-hmm. He was very...
So don't forget, my claim to fame is his daughter phoned me. Cindy phoned me. When we had the guy saying that he was Joe Esposito's love child, do you remember that, guys? On one of our live streams, he joined us. Cindy phoned me at home and asked me loads of questions about it. She was lovely. So I've actually spoke to Joe's daughter.
Very personable person, and I knew the first time I met him that we were going to be friends.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
What about that first visit made you sure?
Just the little gleam in his eyes and the little smile he had on his face. Mm-hmm. There was something...
I love that. What made you know that you were going to be friends? The gleam in his eyes, the smile on his face.
I'll never forget that day. I mean, it was just amazing, this gorgeous man and this little smile. And I knew it was just something. We clicked. We just clicked.
And why did they call him Diamond Joe? I think, was it because he wore loads of rings? Is that true?
I have no idea what it was.
And there you went on to work with him for many, many years and became not only his tour manager, but a very good friend. And you saw him go through the ups and the downs.
Yes.
I want to know something, though, Joe. When you initially started working for him, mm-hmm. was it difficult to have a working relationship and a friendship? Is that not a contradiction at times?
It's a good question, guys.
Well, it is time, but not with him, not with his situation. You were a friend first, an employee 2nd. When you work for Elvis Presley, it's not like a 9-to-5 job. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're on call. So I lived at his house, first of all, and you were there. I took care of everything you needed to get done. I made sure everything was organized, made sure everybody knew where you had to be, and we did that, and that's what I did. But on our off times, we'd have dinner together.
Yeah.
We played together. We did everything together. So it's a very unusual situation that it was, but it was like one big family, and we had a great time. We just
See, like one big family, we had a great time. Come on, guys. They loved it. They loved it.
enjoyed life. We played. And it was
What
just-
about the times that, where things were difficult in his life? I mean, obviously there was
yes.
the drugs and there was the alcohol and, the sadness that he lived through.
Yes.
Were you able to broach those subjects with him? Were you able to say, listen, you're in trouble here, we've got to do something? Or was
yes.
that a taboo?
No, it was not taboo.
So, I mean, pretty standard, guys. Everyone, they always ask the questions about the drugs. The drugs always get brought up, which I don't like, but let's see how Joe responds to it.
All tried. I tried. All the guys tried. His father tried. Priscilla tried. But it's like anything, when somebody gets addicted to something. But he's not a drinker. That was one thing. He was against alcohol because his mother had an alcohol problem.
Yeah.
So he refused to have alcohol around. So, but prescription drugs to him was fine.
So it's interesting that he says Elvis didn't like a drink. He also adds prescription drugs were fine. I'm glad he said that because the question she asks is, was the drugs a problem? So at least he takes it back to the prescription drugs. I wish that he said Elvis was very sick. We know that Elvis was very sick. Elvis was sick through his whole life, even as a child, even as a baby. So I wish the world understood that Elvis took a lot of prescribed medication because he was very unwell. I'm not saying he didn't get addicted. I'm not saying there weren't horrible side effects. I'm not even saying that some of these sleeping tablets, etc., didn't get him a bit stoned. But Elvis took these tablets to get better, to ease his pain, to sleep, to wake up, to have energy for the concerts. So I wish people gave more details about the prescribed medication.
Which is a mental
As
thing.
a doctor gave
Right,
it?
doctor gave it to him. It's medicine. But as you know, everybody else knows that, that is very dangerous too. And, one pill is all you're supposed to take. You take
So I like the fact he goes on and says, it's medicine, it's medicine.
2, you think it does a better job for you, but it doesn't. It makes it worse. And we all
Yeah, side effects, long-term effects of overtaking prescribed medication. Not good, not good.
tried to help Elvis. Believe me, it was sad for us to see him go through these spurts. But then sometimes he would clean his act up. We would go on a vacation, go to Aspen, Colorado, and he'd be great. He didn't take any pills. He just had a great time. He enjoyed life. But something would bother him.
And I like that. He's basically saying that Elvis would go through phases where he would get himself sorted, maybe take less medication, try and get himself healthy, It's not all bad, guys.
Mentally, because he would never tell you about his problems. That made him go back into doing that again. So, I have my own idea.
So that's better. Elvis mentally, he had problems, stress, the pressure of being Elvis, the pressure of hundreds of people relying on him to feed themselves, to clothe themselves. So sometimes I think people forget the stardom, the type of stardom that Elvis had. Really, the only man on the planet that had that kind of stardom. The pressure he was under must have been unbelievable. So what do, guys? You turn to your doctor for help. You want to sleep. Elvis had the worst insomnia. He needed help to sleep. Of course he did.
He is why a lot of this happened to him. But, we can
Why
talk
do you
about
think that?
Well, latter couple of years of his life, when he turned 40, was a big turning point in his life. And in those days, 40 years old was, is your halfway point. You're on the way
Right.
down. Nowadays,
I do remember, guys, being 40 in the 70s was classed as old. It's different now. Now, if you're 40, you're not old. Then you were.
he's 50
Yeah.
and more. And that bothered him. It really did, because he was overweight at the time. And some of the headlines in papers
cruel.
cruel.
So
There was a picture on the front of, I think, Life magazine or Look, I think it was Life magazine, that they'd drawn a caricature of Elvis, and they said fat and 40.
Oh.
You know, what a horrible thing. Anybody would bother them.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
he
So let's just check the comments quickly, guys. I'm a little upset with Joe because I had recently a video that he was talking about an incident with Christina Crawford. Yeah, do you know what? I think Amy Collett, our researcher, is going to send me the truth about that. The truth, what really went on. I'm sure she mentioned it to me. Amy did. So we'll do a show about that. Let's have a look. Obviously, we love Amy. She's our researcher, isn't she? So, Karen, I know it's off topic. I've lost 6 pounds this week, Louis, since I'm off antidepressants. Yes! So you stuck it out. Karen, you stuck it out, yeah? So I remember we were like, you know, talk to your doctor. Obviously, I always say talk to your doctor. Karen, be proud. 6 pounds, come on. You're back on the wagon, aren't you? You're back on the train. You're back on the carnival keto train. Of course, we're on Elvis Presley fan on keto here, so it's okay. We can talk about it. Karen, we are very proud of you. Yeah, so he didn't, Vincenzo, yeah, he didn't drink. So yeah, he corrected by mentioning medication, yeah. I have tickets for the Elvis show on May the 10th. Adrian, which show are we talking about? I have just watched you. All right, so Adrian, you were on our other show, yeah? Talking about Elvis Evolution being postponed. Charlie Hodge was in the movie with Kurt Russell. Yep. Thanks, Vincenzo. What happened with that show? So, Adrian, do you have tickets for Elvis Evolution? Is that what you're talking about?
He never talked about us with that, but I know it bothered him. So what do people do when they drink or they take pills? They take a pill. He concerned about, will people love me when I'm 50?
Yeah.
Will people love me when I'm 60? You know, I'm 40 now. Am I still going to be a sex symbol? Whatever. And that bothered him tremendously, you know. And
I get it. Come on, guys. Do we remember? I remember 100% in the 70s and 80s, 40 was old, wasn't it? It isn't now. I'm 58 in July. I don't feel old now. I wish I was 40.
you'd think he would do something about it, and he didn't.
Hold me close, hold me tight, make me thrill to delight. Let me know where I stand from the start. I want you, I need you, I love you with all my heart.
Oh, I love this. Joanne, hi, Joanne. Right, Adrian, let's clear things up, yeah? The tickets you have, are they for Elvis Evolution? Are they for Elvis Evolution? Let me know. And if they are, have you had an email letting you know that it's been postponed? Okay. So, Karen, yes, you're back, Karen. Well done. We're very proud of you. Dr. Nick said a lot of times Elvis was like a robot on stage, Louis. Meaning what? Vincenzo, meaning what?
You speak about him, you've written about him, you share your memories with him. Do you think he would be happy, or he might be a little upset about that?
Well, I'm hoping he'd be happy about it because, you know, I tell it the way it is, and I'm not hiding things, but people have to understand being a superstar is a lot of pressure. I mean, it really is. I mean, every little part of your life is scrutinized, and plus people make up stories about you, which is even worse. And it's, you know, you don't have a
Guys making up stories about him. God.
life of your own at all. And plus, not only that, do people love me, and Elvis even said that one time, do people love me for Elvis Presley or for me, myself, as a human being?
So what are you
Ladies.
saying, Joe, that you feel that you have to go out there and sort of clear things up?
I
for him
try
on
to.
behalf of,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really feel I do. I mean, there's a lot of stories, a lot of lies out there, and I like to answer the questions. You know,
How does
people ask me
Priscilla
questions.
Guys, isn't that how we feel as well? Isn't that how we feel? Like, we're always defending Elvis. I really find that all of us here on Team Elvis, and Elvis fans in general, I think around the world, we're always defending Elvis. There's so much crap out there. There's so much of the truth has been twisted. And I know, and you know, that's Joe Esposito, one of Elvis's best friends. Joe was one of the good ones, wasn't he? He made a few mistakes, but generally, Joe was one of the good ones. So was Charlie Hodge and Larry Geller. These are the good ones, yeah? They found they after Elvis passed, they were always defending Elvis. Really, in some ways, they're the original defenders of Elvis, you know? So, interesting, guys.
Is there still a friendship between you and Priscilla?
Oh, yes. Yes, there is. I mean...
So, guys, he mentions the friendship with Priscilla Presley. It worries me. I personally think many of these people, including Jerry Schilling, definitely Charlie Hodge, were too close to Priscilla. But I think they had to be, because once Elvis passed, once Vernon passed, Priscilla was the boss. Everyone had to kiss Priscilla's ass. Priscilla had a lot of power. Everything that needed to be done that concerned Elvis, that had something to do with Elvis, had to go through Priscilla. Priscilla was top dog. So in the end, all of these guys, I don't want to sound rude, had to kiss Priscilla's ass. I don't like it. I think many things have happened that are wrong because of Priscilla having... These people had to bow down to Priscilla. Honestly, guys, do you feel that way? Put it in the comments. Do you feel that some of the Memphis Mafia had to bow down to Priscilla to get their way, to make their money, to make money about discussing Elvis, anything concerning Elvis, biographies, documentaries, books, movies, TV series, everything went through Priscilla. So these guys, including Joe, just an opinion, just my opinion as a fan, had to kiss her ass.
You have to understand Priscilla's story, because a lot of fans hated her because she left Elvis and they got divorced. Well, you know, we were out there playing around all the time, you know, and the wives were at home taking care of the kids.
And on two topics here. So obviously, they were all being naughty with the ladies. I know Joe definitely loved the ladies. Yeah, even come on, we've done our research. We know Joe was a naughty boy. Yeah, we know Elvis was as well sometimes. The other thing is, Vincenzo mentions Billy Smith. Yes, I agree. Billy Smith. No, not Billy Smith. Yeah. So Vincenzo mentions Billy Smith, that he never liked Priscilla. He always says what he thinks. Okay? Fine. I'm a big supporter of the Smiths. Billy Smith, Danny Smith, all of the Smiths. I fully support them.
So I can understand that very much so. You know, I got divorced too, and I can understand that. We were a bunch of wild young men, and we didn't give it up. We didn't stop.
How do you think?
But I agree. Elvis and the boys, the Memphis Mafia, they had their fun. But does he really know the wrongdoing that Priscilla did? Does he really know that from around 1968 in April, when Priscilla was caught being unfaithful with the dance instructor, then again with Mike Stone, the karate champion? Does Joe know that Elvis felt single? Because once Priscilla had betrayed Elvis with the dance instructor Steve Peck, with Mike Stone, Elvis lived as a single man. So I've always thought, I see it differently. Now, if Priscilla had stayed faithful and was not unfaithful with the dance instructor, with Mike Stone, maybe things would have been different. What do you think, guys? Put it in the comments, please.
Elvis would feel about the choices that Lisa Marie has made over her life. I mean, marrying Michael Jackson. I mean,
that's a tough one.
I mean, how do you feel?
They can't bring up Michael Jackson. Here we go.
Knew the man so well. I mean, when this came out in the news, I mean, we were all a little shocked. I mean, I was just wondering, somebody was so close to...
Well, you know, I didn't believe it when I heard it.
Yeah.
I said, no, that happened. That's just another one of those stories. And, you know, I don't know. I've never asked Lisa about it, because that's her business. I maybe feel that she just wanted to break away from her mother. Because she was always, you know, her mother, and took care of her and everything like that. Maybe she felt this was my chance to break away. Marry Michael, get a lot of publicity. Maybe her and Michael were friends. Now, I don't know if it was beyond that. Maybe it was for publicity.
Yeah.
Because, as you know, Michael was having problems at that time.
Yes.
So maybe she tried to help him out. And, I mean, I don't know. But people ask me that question a lot about what Elvis think. Well, if Elvis, like you said, if Elvis was alive, would that have happened? No. It would not have happened.
You think
Elvis
so,
was
right?
alive, no. No,
Yeah.
I don't think so at all.
You think she missed out a lot on losing her father at such a young age?
Yeah, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Interesting, guys. Very interesting. Obviously, the book From Here to the Great Unknown, it was a very happy time for her when she married Michael Jackson. Now, she regrets it as well because she still loved Danny Keogh as a friend. She always wanted to stay close with Danny. Michael Jackson, from what I've read, didn't like the closeness that Lisa Marie had with Danny Keogh. That caused problems. Michael Jackson would disappear for weeks on end. But I do think there was a time with Lisa and Michael Jackson where it was very real. I know that to the public it was quite bizarre. I remember when I first found out, I thought it was bizarre. I did. Lisa getting with Michael Jackson. And it didn't last very long, but they stayed friends. We don't know this, do we? After Lisa and Michael Jackson split up, they stayed friends for years. So it was a real relationship, guys. It really was. And if you listen to Riley Keough, her interviews, she says the relationship between Lisa and Michael was real. She has many happy memories in Netherlands with Michael Jackson. She said he was just a normal guy, and that he was kind and loving and caring. So it's interesting, guys.
But as for why, I have no idea. I'm completely shocked, like everybody else is. But as we know, it didn't last long.
We get the impression also that Elvis truly loved Priscilla. I mean, that was the love of his life, despite the fact that there were numerous other women associated to him and that he obviously had his flings and his good times.
Yes,
You party
yes.
boys, you. But we do get the impression that Priscilla was the love of his life. When they...
No. Right, we've only got a few minutes left, guys, but no. I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in here. Priscilla was not the love of Elvis's life. No way. Now, she wants us to think that she was the love of his life. No. I've done enough of my fan-at-home research that she was not the love of his life. Now, did Elvis think she could be the love of his life? Yeah, probably, before he gets to see the real Priscilla. I think once Priscilla shows her true colours, Elvis realizes she's not the sweet, innocent, virgin, kind, loving, caring person that he thought she was. Remember, from our research, from the book Child Bride, we see a very different Priscilla. Even after the engagement, the marriage, obviously, she's unfaithful with Steve Peck. She does it again with Mike Stone, the karate champion, Steve Peck, the dance instructor. A different side of Priscilla emerges after the marriage. Honestly, guys, I really believe that once Lisa Marie was born, a completely different Priscilla emerges, a very ambitious young lady who has a thirst for money, for fame, for stardom, for attention, for spotlight, doesn't really want to be a mum. She puts herself first, her career, the opportunity of fame and money. Lisa seems to be cast off in summer camps, eventually in Scientology. So when this lady says that Priscilla was the love of Elvis's life, no.
separated. Did he ever heal from that? I mean, I get the impression that he continued, but...
Well, he continued, but yes, that had a lot of effect on him, too. I mean, that was a big blow on his ego.
Right, so, of course it was a big blow on his ego when Priscilla ran off with Mike Stone, taking Lisa Marie with her, and Lisa Marie forced to live with a stranger. Yeah, you've heard it all before, guys. Dragged away from her father, Elvis. But it wasn't just his ego. We talk about the ego here. It wasn't just that. It was the way that Priscilla did it. She secretly was sleeping with Mike Stone, the karate champion, for a year before Elvis found out. I'm not exactly sure how Elvis found out. Leave it in the comments if you know, guys. But come on, a year. Don't forget, she'd already been caught being unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, when Lisa Marie was months old. to pick a karate champion. Elvis had met Mike Stone a few times. Priscilla had met Mike Stone a few times. So to go after a karate champion, that is what made it all humiliating. That is why Elvis's ego was... And then to lose Elvis's daughter, Lisa, the most important thing in Elvis's life, to be dragged away. Elvis is forced into this predicament because of Priscilla's wrongdoing, her unfaithfulness. Elvis has got no say in it. In the 70s, the child went with the mum. The child went with the mum, always in the 70s. Yeah? Even the 80s and 90s. I think it's different now. But there was, you know, we say ego, ego, ego. No. A lot of bad stuff happened. Unfaithfulness. Losing his daughter. A very public marriage. The whole world watched Elvis get married to Priscilla. The whole world watched Elvis get engaged. The whole world watched the pregnancy. Yeah? I personally think Elvis, through the pregnancy, was faithful. That's my opinion, guys. Through the pregnancy. Yeah? Now, it's in all the tabloids, on every TV program, in all the magazines. Everyone is talking about this beautiful fairy tale romance between Priscilla and Elvis. And then this beautiful child comes along, Lisa Marie. The whole world adored. You see the pictures of Elvis holding Lisa Marie on the steps of the hospital, the video clips. But behind closed doors, Priscilla has been seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor. The relationship between Steve Peck, the dance instructor, must have been going on before Lisa Marie was born. Is that possible? Because it wouldn't have been a one-night stand. I know that Priscilla was having dance lessons, obviously, but it wouldn't have happened overnight. There must have been a friendship brewing. Eventually it turns into a relationship. 2 or 3 months after poor Lisa Marie, who's just a baby, was born. So there's a possibility here that Priscilla was seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor, through the pregnancy. Just after the birth of Lisa, it evolved into a relationship, which she admits in her book, Elvis and Me, on page 262. So guys, of course Elvis was climbing up the walls, raging when he found out about Mike Stone, because she had already done it. She had already humiliated him with his public marriage. So everything happened in the spotlight. When Priscilla ran off with Mike Stone, taking Lisa Marie with her, this happened in front of the world. We have to imagine Elvis at home. We have to imagine Elvis at home. How he went, he probably ripping his hair out. Of course he was angry. Of course he was upset. So let's play this last little bit, then I'm going to read your comments, guys. We're going to come back and do part 2 tomorrow.
You know, I'm supposed to be this big star in the world, and my wife leaves me for somebody else, which even made it worse.
Right.
So it did affect him, but he never talked to us. I mean, he complained to us about it happening, but he never really got his feelings to us. He kept them all inside.
Who did he share those
with
feelings
other women?
Don't forget, in the 70s, guys, men kept things to themselves. Anything like this. Elvis, by the sounds of it, Elvis didn't tell everyone about all the stuff that was going on with Priscilla. Even his health, even the health problems, you keep it to yourself. In the 70s, 80s, a man kept his health problems to himself. These guys didn't really know how sick Elvis was. They thought he was into drugs, wanted to get high and stoned. It's not true, guys. He was sick, couldn't sleep. He had serious stomach problems, constipation. He had liver problems, heart problems. Elvis was so unwell. These guys didn't really know. Elvis kept it to himself. He was a proud man. Let's keep going, guys.
With other
Not
women.
with guys.
Really?
Yes, because it was that macho thing back in those 60s and 70s. You weren't weak. So, but yet he could relate to women. He related with women much more than men because he was raised by his mother. He was very close to his mother, so he felt comfortable sitting and talking to them about his problems. Because I know a lot of the old girlfriends and friends, and I still am friends with them today, and they all talk about how wonderful man. He talked about religion and life, and about his mother.
Was he good to women?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Was he good to women? I think he was. I think Elvis was a real gentleman. I think Elvis was lovely. I think Elvis treated everyone with complete respect. Now, was he ready to marry everyone? Of course not. Was he encouraged and forced into marrying Priscilla? Yeah, I think so. So a very interesting interview. I'm looking forward to playing part 2. We'll do that tomorrow. You know, when I watched this interview, I like Joe Esposito. He's a good guy. I'm not here to trash Joe. I like Joe. I respect his daughter Cindy for phoning me when she did. But when I go through that interview, and it's not a long, it's a 9-minute section, I get the feeling that Joe didn't really know everything we know. I think the stuff that has come out now, the information coming out now over the last 5 years, whatever it is, we're starting to understand that there was a whole secret side to Elvis. I'm talking about his health, yeah? We're starting to see the interviews from ex-girlfriends, friends, people that Elvis worked with, people that Elvis confided in. And I think Elvis kept a lot to himself. Elvis kept a lot here. He didn't confide in everyone. There were certain people he trusted that he could talk to. I think he only opened up to Joe a certain amount. So... yeah, Vincenzo, I don't doubt that the prescribed medication caused a lot of problems. I don't doubt it. Caused some serious problems. Yeah, Karen, Priscilla threw herself at Mike Stone. Probably the dance instructor. Come on, a good-looking lady that could get any man. I've always thought Priscilla had it. The charm, the sex appeal, being sexy, the personality, the looks, to get any man. I'm talking about Priscilla of the 70s and 80s. She could get any man. Her seductive powers were almost irresistible, I would say. Yeah, Karen, I think Elvis treated every girl like they were special, yeah? My friend Nicola Cripper, who met Elvis twice in 1972, said she never liked Joe Esposito. She said he was rude. Yeah, I mean, I like him. I'm going to be honest with you, Vincenzo. He's one of the ones I like. Yeah, I know that there's a few things, you know, the racquetball business and stuff like that. He was a ladies' man as well. I like him. I like him. You could do a lot worse. I think that interview was pretty reasonable, pretty fair. Riley reminds me a lot of her grandpa Elvis, how she carries that torch. Okay, guys. So thanks for joining me on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. I am going to do a video soon talking about the carnivore diet, the keto diet. We've got a bit of catching up to do. I've had no time to do the videos I want to do, but I've enjoyed this. We've done a couple of good lives today. I'm going to keep my eye on the Elvis Evolution stuff, guys. I'm really worried about the people that have booked tickets. Yeah, Lorna, I agree. I agree, Lorna. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to go, but I enjoyed this. We've had a nice little half an hour chat. I'll be back in the morning for some more live streams. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining me. This has been really interesting. I'm looking forward to playing part 2. Tomorrow, I'm going to do part 2. All the best to you guys. Gotta go. I've got to cook some food for the kids. I'm happy. My car passed its MOT, so I'm happy. My hair's black, so I'm happy my hair's gone back to black. Take care, everyone. Thanks, all of you. Thank you for your input. It's been great. Take care, everyone. All the best to you. See you later, alligator. Don't forget, we've been talking about the